Hello, my friends. This is Reverend Bonnie here. Merry Christmas and happy Metaphysical Christmas. So, I like this time of year to stop and to think about what it is like and what the process is for allowing the birth of love, for allowing divine love to have its way in my heart. And for me, it is more than a one time birth process. It is a returning to the well process over and over again. And so it's so fantastic to review this story annually and to allow myself to remember that within me resides all of the characters and all of the locations. So I have in front of me here, bear with me as I look down for a moment, the story of the birth of Jesus in Luke. And what I have down here is that Mary and Joseph are leaving um, Nazareth, where Jesus will end up being raised, and where they are currently living, to return to their lineage, to return to where it all began, if you will, and going back to the house of David. And David has a unique um, meaning in the story because David was a king and he followed Saul. Saul was a king who ruled from his head and made very head based kind of decisions for his followers, where they ousted him because he was not beloved. And you and I have had bosses, and we ourselves have operated from times from our head, and we can feel and tell the difference in our body temples when we do this. And then David was beloved. People loved him. He loved his people that he ruled. And so what we saw was a movement from the head to the heart. Well, Jesus is born of the lineage of David. So it means that the place has already been prepared for the heart and consciousness for Jesus to be born. And I love that. I love hearing that. And as I have sat and meditated upon the Old versus the New Testament, or upon the Torah versus the New Testament, what I realize is that the Jews are a people of immense character building, of incredible laws and practicing of laws in order to be in right relationship with God, in right relationship with the divine. And so that is the preparation that Christians have when they talk about the birth of Jesus, is that before Jesus is born, Jesus was a Jew, and he and his family and his lineage, aka David, spent their life devoted to God moment to moment, day by day, making choices that were in alignment, right alignment with the divine. And so when it comes time for Mary to be chosen, the angel says to her, you know, you are of good stock. You're of that place of practice. You are ready. Your consciousness is ready. And then shows up, of course, to Joseph and says, you know, Joseph, you're a man of faith and you got to move over. The Holy Spirit is coming. I just love that. And so the birth of Jesus is the birth of divine love that comes from a very prepared consciousness of moving from the head down to the heart. And the heart operates out of grace. The head operates out of law, what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. And the heart feels, the heart operates out of love. So we see the story of Mary and Joseph going back to the lineage of David, going back into the heart, if you will, in order to bring forth this birth of Jesus. And what I love are the angels, because the angels are always my favorite characters, because they're that part inside of us that is related to the divine. It's that part inside that uplifts and that sings high praises and that looks for the good and that has the higher view. Because you and I both know when we're in it, it looks really different than when we're above it looking down and seeing a greater landscape. Well, our angels are the higher that are up above looking down. And so they're saying to our inner shepherds who are rallying all of those internal voices and saying, look, good news is coming. Love is being born in you. look, good news is coming. You've done the work. Grace is being born within you. And then you get to be that place of the Christ in the world. How deliciously wonderful is that? And so today's practice is not so much a full-blown meditation for 5 minutes like we've done before. It is more of a reminder. And it is a reminder throughout the day when you're making a decision to stop and breathe and say, how does this feel? Put your hands on your heart even. How does this feel? Not coming from a place of right and wrong, but instead coming from a place of the heart. What is right for me? So my story right now is I have a condo that is on the market, and I have been looking for realtors. And I'm interviewing realtors. And so I met with some real heady realtors who came over, a team of them who were like, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to make this happen, and we're going to go here, and we're going to go there, and we're going to do all this, and it's going to happen really fast, and we're going to slash all of your prices, and you're going to do this. And by the time they left, I was very exhausted, but also frustrated. And a friend of mine said, so how did it feel? Get out of your head, Bonnie, of thinking, is this the right team for me? And take a moment and feel, is this the right team for me? And the answer was no, it wasn't the right team for me. And yet I needed that opportunity to be reminded, leave your head, take a breath, go into your heart and ask. That's where the presence of God lives. That's where the presence of love lives. The presence of God, that infinite place that resides within me, is calling forward the right realtor for me. And when I find him or her, I will feel it. I will feel it. So yes, there is some discernment. Discernment is the head and the heart working together. But it's not ignoring the heart because the head knows better. So throughout the day today, I'd like you, along with me, just to stop, take a nice deep breath, and ask yourself how this feels. How this feels. When you meet someone new today, don't just listen to what they have to say, but feel into their space and say, is this a right relationship for me? Let your heart guide a bit today. We're talking about the birth of love, the birth of divine love. How wonderful it is to come from that deep well within each one of us. This is the story of Christmas, the story of love. May you and I be that place in the world that shows up from and as this divine presence of love. Merry Christmas, my friends. I'm looking forward to a spectacular 2019. Love and blessings to you.